Very good. Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started, and knowing that we'll have some other people joining us. So welcome, everybody. I'm John Jackson. I get called JJ. And with Travis Lindsay, the man in red, we are the hosts of the CSUF Startup Incubator, which we started about 5 years ago now. And we work with early stage startups to help them move forward. Incubation is about a 6-month process to us in terms of our advisory support. And we work with any type of startup, whether they're manufacturing or software. We're just looking to support scalable ventures that are founded by people of strong character. Well, I think while Ali gets all set up, Michael, I ought to kick it to you and let you begin the show, because we've got a little less than an hour to wrap this up. So take it away, and you can self-introduce, Michael Daehn.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out. Just sharing my screen here. Everybody see that okay? I'll take the silence as a yes. Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thanks for having me here. It's been good to have this relationship with the university. I did go there as an undergraduate, and it's pretty cool to come back and share some of the things I've learned since I've been out in the business world. So I want to share with you today how to convert web traffic into customers using SEO and inbound marketing. So the first question is, what is SEO? So I know I'm dealing with people with different levels here. Some people have heard that word, but they don't really know what it means. Other people are like, yeah, I know that. So I'm just going to go through some basic definitions here. This stands for search engine optimization. So it's just making sure that you're going to show up on the search engine results page, or SERP, when people search for keywords. And obviously, the higher you show up on the page, the better. So we've all seen this if we use a computer and use Google. It's just a search engine results page, or people call them SERP for short. So again, just a quick definition. There is a difference, although people tend to lump them together, between SEO and SEM. SEO is earned by your reputation. So what kind of things you have on your website. It's also called organic. Social media can help with that. And it's based on really the content you have on your site, and the inbound links coming into your site really affect your SEO. Then SEM is it's paid. So we've got earned and we've got paid. It's essentially you're buying ads, you're buying banner ads, you're paying for the results on those pages. So to see that in action, we could see the gray area, that's SEM, that's a paid ad for the search term. And all the shaded pink areas, that's me, that is earned by me through my SEO efforts. So we talked about keywords. What are keywords? They are what help search engines understand the purpose of your page. They're the foundation of your website content, and they also help your visitors and potential customers understand the purpose of your website. So really, these are just the key phrases and words that are part of your site. If your site's about a particular subject or product, it really makes sense you would have those kind of terms on your site. So the way it works, your website has keywords on it. Searcher goes to Google or something, they type in those keywords because they're looking for answers. They're looking for information about that. And then it shows up on the search engine results page. So if I have a site where I sell widgets at widget.com, as I'm talking about my product, say, yeah, we have lots of widgets, we specialize in widgets, we meet all of your widget needs. So when someone's doing a keyword search, they're going to type in, what are the best widgets, Google? And then Google's going to say, well, this site over here has a lot of information about widgets. I'm going to rank them #1. So that's essentially how SEO works. So this is a real life example. My family owns an Italian restaurant. And we can see this is for a previous month, over 15,000 people found the restaurant online through keyword searching. So they typed these words into their search engines, and it's kind of cool. It actually tells you what they typed in. 379 people typed in restaurant. or Italian food near me, or Italian restaurants, a few hundred people type those in. So that's how SEO works and the keywords on your site, why they're relevant. So I gave it away there. There's a secret to good SEO. So SEO can be very complicated. There are people that specialize in it. They'll charge you a lot of money. But really just keeping in mind what you can do yourself. The secret to good SEO is having a good experience, good UX, good user experience on your website. So making sure when people come to your site, they can find things easily, your site loads fast, you have good titles and headings, it's mobile friendly. That's how Google ranks you. They look at all those same things and say, hey, is this website a good experience for their users? Is this site going to be beneficial? So if you just keep the customer first, really in a lot of ways, SEO will take care of itself. And I want to talk today even more about the inbound marketing process. So SEO is definitely a part of that, but it really leads into, what is inbound marketing? You may or may not have heard that term, but it's about creating that content that we talk about, keywords coming from content. So creating content specifically designed to appeal to your target customers. And inbound attracts qualified prospects, and it keeps them coming back to your website. This little comparison of traditional marketing and inbound marketing. The traditional is more of a yelling at people with a megaphone, and inbound is more attracting people to your site through your content. And in the past, there's more cold calling, cold emails, and spam, interrupting people. And it's very marketer centric, like, hey, this is us, this is what we do. Or inbound's more using your SEO tools, blogging, and attracting people to your website. So this comes from HubSpot. So they make software to do a lot of these things. We could see kind of the process here. So we want to take people from strangers into promoters of our product through this process. So we're going to attract, convert, close, and delight people. And I'm going to go into each one of these a little bit more detail. So first, we want to attract people to our website. So the way we do this is with, we have like a blog that's providing educational information and content, or answering questions. If you think about it, when people go to search engines, they usually type in questions. They're looking for answers. And having a blog is a good way to answer those questions. We talked about SEO and keywords. Also remember, just the main part of your site, what is on those pages, what kind of content is there. That helps search engines find your site and attract new people to your website. And of course, using social media to share out our content. So this is a study done by HubSpot. You kind of see that hockey stick here after 200 pages on your site. The more pages you have on your website, the more leads you're going to get from your website. So you're looking at that like me saying, how do I build so many pages on my website? That's where the blog comes in. Every time you do a blog post, you're actually creating a new page on your website. And blogs, it's kind of a silly name, we're stuck with it, but it is a great tool when you're creating unique content that isn't found anywhere else on the internet. That's the kind of thing Google likes from an SEO perspective, and that starts to get more leads for your website. So again, this is a study showing, here, once you have over 100 blog posts, you really start to see the amount of leads you're getting from your website take off. And we talked about social media. So if we're creating these great blog posts, we also want to share that content out. We want to syndicate really all the content we have on our website. So as we're creating things, it doesn't just live on our website. We're able to share it out through social media and email marketing, things like that, and repurpose that content. Just bear in mind, we want to use those channels to drive traffic back to our website and not the other way around. People are going to convert on your website. They're not typically going to convert on social media. And also, you don't want to send people to Facebook and they're watching cat videos for the next couple hours. Not even going to remember who you are. So you want to use social media to drive traffic back to your website and not the other way around. So step 2, we want to convert people from visitors into actual leads. So I do specialize in website design, and this is really what I'm good at. I'm not the best with graphics and images. I actually will work with other people for that, but I really understand the conversion process. You can have a beautiful website, or you can have a really confusing website. The point of your website is to convert people into leads and into customers. And so that's really what I specialize in. And the way we do that on our site is through having good forms. Just remember, when you have a form for people to fill out, the more information you ask for, the less people are going to fill it out. So only ask for what you need. I have clients, they want to ask 20 questions on their lead forms. Like, can we just ask for the email? Like, if you need all that information, that's fine for your business. It's going to be different for everybody. But really, especially in that initial contact, only ask for what you need. The more you ask for, the less people fill it out. Make sure that your call to action buttons and information are consistent, and with the color, and that all of your links are very consistent. And make sure you have something in mind for your site. For your website, you should have a main call to action, and every page you're on should lead to a call to action. What's the next step? Don't have any dead ends on your website. And then landing pages, that's where we put our forms and things. That's where the conversion process happens. Again, I have people come to me like, hey, this company wants to sell me a lead page software. For the most part, you don't really need those things. You should have one website that you can build everything on. You can build a landing page, is a page that is focused on a particular intent. You don't really need special software to do that. And the sites I build, you can just add a page to your own site. It makes it easier for people visiting your site. You're not sending them to different places or different pieces of software to use. It also makes it easier for you to manage, and it's usually less expensive. So talking about how to convert traffic and that user experience, just the way people are able to find information on your website is very important. Something that's overlooked is just the navigation of your site. It should be very simple and easy to understand, and really the less the better. You really want to try to focus people and try to get them to that main call to action. And then just the look of your site. If we look at, this is a real website. Now the date says 2010, so I don't think it's still up, but this is a real website, and every place on here that's the blue and underlined link, those are links. Those are essentially call to actions as other places you can go on the website. So I don't really know what the purpose of this website is. There's a million different places you could go, but let's compare that to, this is actually my website. So just cleaning things up, having a clear call to action. You know where I want you to click on here. There's a big red button, and it's replicated down here, but that's my primary call to action. I want to build you a free website. That is the whole point of my website, is to get you to click that button. That is kind of the bottom of my funnel, my conversion funnel. But again, your site doesn't have to look like this aesthetically, but just the idea that it's clean, it's simple, people know what to do. And that is the main question about your website. What do you want people to do? So when I sit down with potential clients, I ask them, what do you want people to do on your website? And a lot of them, at first, they're not even really sure what to say. Or they say, hey, I spent a lot of money on this video. It'd be cool if they watched it. The purpose of your website is not for people to watch a video. Now, maybe that video gets people to your primary call to action, which is to buy a product or to set an appointment with you. So that's okay to have that content, but to say, hey, if everybody just watched this video, I'd be happy. It's like, no, that's not really the purpose of that kind of content. So once you've determined, hey, this is what I want people to do, like if everybody came to my site and did this, I would be happy. That's what I need. That is your primary call to action. And it should be a button. Yes. I've read whole research reports on buttons and button colors and button shapes. So I'm your button guy. But if your current website or the website you want to build doesn't have your primary call to action as an actual button, then you need to take care of that, or you need to give me a call. Just a mention too about the color. A lot of people talk about the color. Well, red means stop. And again, doing a lot of research, what is important about the color of the button is that it stands out against the design of your site. High contrast. The color really doesn't matter that much. It's just that it stands out on your site. So step 3, closing people, turning them from leads into customers. So this is great. We're converting people, they're becoming customers, and we need a good CRM system so that we can track and follow up with these people and link it with our activity. Or if you're a bigger company, maybe use Salesforce. Make sure you have them on your email list so you're staying in contact. You're nurturing these leads, or even if they're customers, that you're staying in contact with them, sending a newsletter, staying in touch, staying top of mind, asking for referrals. And marketing automation is a great way to use that. So once people are in your system, you can regularly keep in contact with them with emails that are already set up ahead of time, so they continue to work for you in the background. So here's an example. Again, it doesn't, this fits my aesthetic. There's not a lot of fancy pictures and stuff, but it's just a simple newsletter that I'm staying in touch with people. It seems kind of old-fashioned, but this is the best way still to stay in touch with your contacts, and you own them. If you're on social media, you don't necessarily own all the people that like your page on Facebook or who follow you on Instagram. Those are Zuckerberg's websites. They're not your website, and he really controls that relationship. Maybe it's going well now, and that's great, but you don't technically own that relationship. They do. They own those customers. So having email lists and contact information that way that you're staying in touch with people, you own that relationship. Also with newsletters, I have people say, well, I don't know what to send. Well, if you're blogging, you do 1 blog post a week. At the end of the month, you got 4 blog posts. That's 4 great pieces of content, information that's helpful to people you can send out. You do the 80-20 rule. You got 80% content, 20% promotion of your business. Bada boom, bada bing, you got a newsletter every month. And then they say, well, who wants a newsletter from me? Look, if you put a form on your website and say, do you want to get a newsletter? And people fill it out, you better be sending them a newsletter. You are not necessarily your customer, but your customers are interested in you and interested in what you're doing. If they say, I want to get email from you, you should be sending them an email. So delighting our customers. So this means we're turning our customers from just customers into actually promoters of our product and our business. So we really want to make sure they're happy customers. So surveys obviously are a good way to find that out. But a problem with surveys I come across is people send them out and then they never look at them. And they don't do anything with the information they've received from the survey participants. And then 6 months later, let's send another survey. Like, look, if you're going to send a survey, have a purpose for it and use the information. There's other things you can do with your website, smart call to actions and smart content. Depending on the software you're using, you can actually change the experience from people visit. If they've already filled out a form and you know who they are, you can change what content they see. You could change what kind of call to action buttons they see. It's pretty cool. And then using social media again to monitor what's going on. There's sentiment analysis. There's tools you can pay for that, or you can just look yourself, and it helps you understand what you look like in the marketplace. So again, put them all together. This is an inbound marketing methodology. So I'm very focused on websites, so I want to get a little bit more specific in how we use those with our website content funnel. So there's different types of content at each level. We've talked about this a little bit, but at the top of the funnel, there are blog posts, articles, content, maybe some videos. Typically, this is going to be free content. This is going to be for people just getting to know you. They're probably strangers to your site, but they found you probably through SEO. Your information is coming up on search engine results pages. So we want to have some good content for them to check out. But remember, even with this, we want to try to lead people into the next step down the funnel. So we also want to have some middle of the funnel content. So this typically is a little bit more substantial, like maybe a book or a guide. I offer my books I've written for free. You can download. There's an online class you can take. You can do different offers. But it's middle of the funnel because to get these things, you do ask for their email address. So 1 million people can visit your website, but if they don't go all the way to the bottom and convert, they're going to leave. You don't know who they are. So you have that middle of the funnel content. So for example, maybe a popover with a guide saying, hey, get your 10 tips on how to blank. That's something pretty much anybody can do right now with their website. Once you get that email, then you want to nurture those leads with some follow-up email campaigns that reinforce that content and also encourage people to take the next step to the bottom of the funnel, which is your primary call to action. So again, for me, I want you to have me create a website for you. So that's my primary call to action. So we have different types of content at each level. So examples, here's my blog. And just, again, remember, this is all unique content that I have written myself. So this really doesn't exist anywhere else on the internet. So that's great for my visitors, and it's also something that Google likes. It gives me a good SEO. Middle of the funnel. So here's different books that I've written. You can download them for free. I just need your email address. I do ask for the website too, because I have this package. I'll give a free website audit of your current website. And we talked about having a popover. Middle of the funnel content is good for that popover. You don't necessarily want to use it for the bottom of the funnel, which is, buy now, but kind of that middle, like, hey, they're interested in your content. They're kind of in between. Would you like to get something a little bit more substantial? And of course, if they click on that, I do ask for their email address. And then we talked about bottom of the funnel. That's really the purpose of your website. This is what you want everybody to do eventually, is that primary call to action for me is to get a website. So we talked about the different kinds of content. This is a piece put up by HubSpot. How do I know if I should gate the content? Gating meaning asking for contact information before people can view it. And it goes into a little bit of detail here, but really the question is it any good? Is the content any good? Yes, okay, it's a fair trade for your information. No, then make better content. So for me, books I've sold, now you can actually download those for free. So it's value for value. Your email address or someone else's email address is worth something. So you want to make sure you're giving something of value for that valuable piece of information. And of course, if you ask me, everybody needs a website. And maybe you can get away with that one now, but think about in 5 years from now. You think things are going to be more digital or less digital? People are going to be doing more on their phones or less on their phones? But there are different types of websites. So there's this establishing credibility with your leads, because I do a lot of networking in person. And actually that's how I get most of my leads, is in person. But if people get your business card, they are going to go look at your website and check you out. So you do want to have that presence. So over here, we definitely want to establish credibility with our leads. And that could just be a one-page website that just has your contact information, maybe some testimonials. Or it could be something a little bit larger, where you do have a conversion form, a landing page, maybe someone could set an appointment with you. But this is a minimum, is to have something to establish credibility with people that are checking you out. Then there's another level, and this is where we're building, we're making content, or creating blog posts and things like that, because we're intentionally trying to get more leads online through SEO, people we don't know, people we haven't already met. We haven't met people in networking groups or face-to-face. So we're actually using tools on the internet to drive leads, and then at a higher level, adding those automated campaigns and getting a little bit more sophisticated in how we do things. But everybody needs a website, even if it's a basic one, even if it's a one page, to establish credibility with your leads, or if you really want to use it as a tool to find new leads online. And this is why. More than 80% of people look at products or services online before purchasing. So you definitely need a website. It definitely provides a credibility for you. And I looked at the study too. It doesn't mean they're actually going to make the purchase online. A lot of times people go check you out online and they will make the purchase in person. So if you have a retail store, or you provide services like me, a lot of times they're going to contact you directly, but they've looked at your website. So we went through the inbound marketing process and kind of the customer journey, how people go from strangers into customers. Your website is a huge part of converting people from strangers into actual customers for you. So the way I do websites, I actually build them for free. So obviously there's a catch where I get paid. Well, I'm not crazy. So I do charge a monthly maintenance package. So once the site is built, I do charge you a monthly fee to maintain it, starting at 99 bucks a month. This is kind of new for me. I did it the typical way of charging people a big fee to build their site. And then I'd say, hey, if you want me to maintain it, I can. So what usually happened with me is I would get that fee up front, and then I wouldn't maintain the site. So the site would slowly deteriorate. So not really good for my reputation, not really good for the client. Also, it can be tough for small business owners to come up with a big chunk of money up front. So by charging monthly and not charging a big fee to build a site at the beginning, makes it much more accessible to people. So I'm kind of taking a risk at foregoing that kind of big payment up front, but I'm hoping long-term it pays off being able to work with my clients. And that's it. I will take your questions. So,
Hi, Michael. This is Chriselle.
Hi, Chriselle.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you because all of this is exactly what I've been looking for, and it's all incredibly helpful. I started social media accounts to kind of help drive inbound business. But what I've been doing is I've been putting in my signature line every social media account instead of kind of doing the reverse where every social media account feeds back to my website. So that's an actionable step that I'm going to take today.
Great. I'm glad you found something useful in there. Yeah, social media, you know, what I'm seeing in the market, the trends, it's difficult to get leads from them without buying advertising. I say at a minimum, you should use it. You know, if you're doing blogs and things like that, definitely want to share it, your content across those networks. So it makes sense. That does help your SEO too, because that's getting links back into your site. But it's becoming more and more difficult to actually get leads and conversions just by posting on social media without having some kind of ad platform, for like placing ads and things like that.
I have an actual question too.
Okay.
I've heard of services where people will write SEO targeted content, but I've also read articles where it could also work against you because if it's too repetitive, it could put you down. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so again, that's where that rule of keeping your visitor in mind first. I've been asked to write keyword stuffed copy that didn't make any sense. Yeah, just think, you know, just read it. Does it sound legitimate? I think just think like a person, because that's what Google's trying to do. They're trying to find stuff that really makes sense. And yes, if it looks like you're trying to stuff keywords or you're just trying to write it for search engines instead of for people, the search engines don't like that. And I think at worst, you probably wouldn't get credit for it. They don't, yeah. So I would stay away from that, but it's definitely okay to work with someone who writes copy. I work with copywriters. But again, if they're good copywriters, they're trying to write content that resonates with people. And when that happens, the search engines like it as well.
Yeah, this is JJ. Travis and I are both active bloggers. A couple pieces of advice that I would offer is shorter is better. So if you go back a decade, oftentimes blogs were like articles that could go on for thousands of words. Well, actually, the web visitor today is looking for an answer to a question, and so you keep your blog very short, certainly less than 500 words. I might recommend 250 words or less, and then you make it about one subject. And remember, the goal is to provide value to the reader. So you really don't have to worry about cramming it with keywords, but write like a human, like you're trying to help someone, and that'll be enjoyed, that'll be valued, and that'll be shared, and that's going to help your SEO.
Yep, absolutely. There's a debate about long form versus short form, but I have not stayed on top of it the last few years. So thank you, JJ, for that. Appreciate it.
Hey, Michael, this is Vinay. I have a question. Do you have any suggestions on how to get backlinks to your blog stories, get other people to share it, and drive more traffic that way?
Yeah, so as far as SEO, there's on-site and off-site. So I focus on the on-site, so I'm building your site the right way and encouraging you to have the right content. Um, as far as getting other people to link in, yeah, that's really powerful. And there are people that specialize specifically in that, because you want to get links from the right people and legitimate people. So I definitely work with vendors for that, because they have a network of other sites that are willing to do that. The other way to try to do it yourself, I'd say, is building a community, networking yourself with other bloggers and asking them maybe you could share content with each other. That's the more organic way to do that. But then there's also, you know, when I work for big companies, we pretty much just, we pay a company to get those links for us.
Yeah, excellent. So do
Yeah,
you have suggestions on websites where we can find both of those things, but, you know, kind of the targeted way of getting the backlinks and also networking with other bloggers?
Well, networking, I think that's just something that you would do yourself. Like if you're interested in guitars, reaching out to guitar enthusiast guitar websites. I mean, I'm sure there's articles out there about how to do it more effectively, but I mean, I've worked in the hockey industry, and again, just reaching out to people in that industry, and just really just making friendships. If you're looking for a vendor, I do have a vendor I work with, so I can connect you with him. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thanks very much.
Okay.
I didn't mute my sneeze there. This is JJ. Ali has a question on chat. He says, my hosting is in Bluehost. It's $80 a year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's slow. How much should we spend for hosting to get a fast server?
Well, of course, the typical answer, it depends. Usually if it's slow like that and it's that cheap, your website's on a server with a lot of other websites. So I don't know if they offer a different plan. Usually you could pay to have that upgraded. I use Squarespace, and that's one of the things they're known for. So Squarespace is a software. It's kind of like WordPress. So you're using their software to build the site, and the hosting's included. But one of the things they're known for is fast sites. And this is the way that their architecture is structured. The hosting is not an issue with them, but it is going to be more than $80 a year. Not a lot, more maybe the $200 a year range, but.
Can you repeat the name? That's Squarespace? Is that what it is?
Squarespace. That's what I use to build all my websites.
Okay. And by the way, I think that's just a huge issue. A lot of people want to cut corners on hosting, but there's nothing more frustrating when you're a visitor going to a site and a site that can't perform. So
That's correct.
I think it's a good investment.
And when it's a problem for the visitor, Google looks at it too. Google, and you can go right now and say Google page speed test, and it'll tell you if your page speed is a problem. Sometimes it's things that you've put on your site. Sometimes like the way you add your images, or if you have scripts or forms you've embedded, that can slow your site down as well. And if you use a Google speed page test, it will tell you what it thinks is slowing down your site. So you could try to adjust some of those things. Other questions? No, we know everything?
I think so. So in that case, Michael, I think your final slide says the answer to my question, how do we get a hold of you, right?
Yep.
And we appreciate, oh, Annie, you've got a question?
Can you hear me now?
Now we can
Hi,
hear
Annie.
you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, 1 second. I think it's something technical with the MacBook. I have one quick question for you guys. 1 second. So, can you see me?
Oh, there you are.
Hi, can you see me? Oh, nice. I have one quick question for you. I'm actually using what is it, Wix to build the simple website, but there's so many out there. There's some I tried before, but I didn't develop myself. So which one do you think is the most? Because we try to do affiliate marketing, but my family having come build up the affiliate marketing with our the Wix developing software. Is that anything that you might be able to recommend?
Well, happy birthday. And is that your birthday?
No, it's not my
Happy birthday. Okay.
I'm asking, is it birthday? Where this is
There's a birthday sign behind you.
Oh, yeah, oh, sorry. So funny. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, that's what my question. So we
Okay.
really try to
So which one to use? So I've tried many different things out there. WordPress. So I kind of come from the day where you had to build websites yourself, and I wasn't very good at that. And then WordPress came out, which made it a lot easier. But WordPress does have some complications in how you host things, and it's inexpensive. The software is actually free, but then yeah, there's a lot of nuances there and things you got to keep track of and updates and things. So I use Squarespace because it's similar to WordPress, but it's easier to use. It's easier to adjust your templates, the hosting and the domain names, all that stuff. They'll take care of all that for you in one place.
You said
And Squarespace. So I know how to do all those things. I know how to actually build the site myself or to use WordPress, but it's such a pain. It is such a pain. So for a few dollars more a month, I use Squarespace. I have used Wix, and I wasn't crazy about it. It just didn't feel like it was very flexible for the kind of things I wanted to do. I'm not saying it's bad. And again, it depends on what kind of site you want to have. We talked about some people have a one-page website. It's just, hey, I'm here, just so you can contact me. Wix might be perfectly appropriate for that because you're not trying to do anything more complicated. But I do encourage people to have like newsletters and do email campaigns. And again, Squarespace is really easy to add those things in, and they all work really well together. So if I was starting off new, I would start with Squarespace.
Right. That's why I thought Wix is I didn't have I never thought of Wix, but we currently using Wix already. But I think because we trying to what would the challenge really, as you said earlier, I will hear, it's really when you're on social media. Sometimes you just we just have a real challenge right now with Facebook and Instagram, where they just really limit, what you can post, and the traffic,
Yeah.
it just really baloney. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they keep changing the rules.
Yes. Very. I think they're perk with social media, but also we had to just cannot depend on social media to have for the mercy.
Yes, absolutely.
So do you think it's possible to do the transition from WordPress from Wix to Squarespace?
Yeah, I do it all the time. Most of the people I work with already have a site and they're not happy with it. And it's usually easier for me just to build them a new site that works better in Squarespace than to try to fix what they have. So I'm happy to talk with you more about that. If you want to send me an email,
yes,
and we can connect.
Yeah,
it's Michael at michaeldaehn.com.
michaeldaehn.com. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
One more question, or?
I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, the rest of you? Well, Michael, thank you so much. We're grateful for your support. And if anybody has any questions, go ahead and contact me, jjackson@fullerton.edu. And glad to help you out as well about the incubator or other ways. So, and Michael Daehn, how do you spell that again, Michael?
It's German, so it's Daehn.
Michael Daehn.com, and he's Michael at michaeldaehn.com. Got a nice ring to it. So, well, very good, everybody. Thank you so much. and we'll be on hiatus for a few weeks. I think I may be the next speaker, as it turns out.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
JJ.
oh, and so that'll be on July 13th. And I'll be talking about advisors, advisory boards, and boards of directors. So with that, wish you a safe next couple of weeks and a upcoming July 4th holiday, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right.